Hello, traders. This is Rich with Breathingwiththemarkets.com. Today is June 5th, 2025. Let's talk about probabilities. Let's use logic, okay? So when we approach the market, we need to approach it in a logical way, not on a hunch, not on intuition, not how many years you've been in the market. Don't misunderstand what I say in any way, shape, or form. A strategy is not a word. A strategy is not support and resistance. That's not called a strategy. That's just a word. Those who call out words are not even explaining their strategy and say it just takes time in the market and you have to have intuition and experience. But yet they can't explain that experience. They admit they can't explain that experience. They admit they can't explain the hunch. Yes, we have hunches and we have intuitions in life. Trading is a professional sport, right? When a batter goes up to the plate and there's a 99-mile-an-hour fastball coming in, he has a split second, less than a split second, to decide whether to swing or not based on his learned behavior, based on his eyes, his skill level, where he can actually connect two round objects together and cannot even be 1/16th of an inch off, for a possible fly ball or a ground ball, i.e. example. So the hand-eye coordination, right? Learned behavior, whether if it's a slider, a changeup, the speed, the spin, everything. It's not a hunch. It's not intuition. It is a skill. You cannot take a skill away from professional athletes, okay? Just because you're 7 foot doesn't mean you're going to be a basketball player. Now, you can have an edge over other basketball players that are shorter, right? There are shorter basketball players, a lot better, quicker, more athletic than maybe a 7-foot basketball player. But if you put everything together and the young man or woman is 7 foot, one hell of an athlete, right? But they didn't get there just because of his height, size, shape, background, genes, all that stuff. Yeah, a lot of things come into play, but you have to put in the work, right? But if you're not willing to put in the work, then you're gambling. It's simple. And if you're following someone that says they're a support resistance trader and they can't explain how they're getting in the market other than a bounce, a hunch, intuition, you'll get it. I've been trading a decade, multi-million dollars. All of that shit's hogwash. And if you don't understand it, I can't help you. I'm trying to get back to the community. You must follow a trader that actually has a skill that can actually explain in details what they're doing in the market. A trader might know what to do in the market based on their education, right? And if they have piss poor education, it equals poor results. But we're talking about trading. Trading is probabilities. The better training that you have, the higher probability you have on becoming better and better each and every day. The lower skill level of education that you bought, paid for, free, YouTube, reading a book, your probability is not going to be as high as if you were with somebody that was professional, the best baseball player, the best pitching coach, the best batting coach, all of this stuff, right? I'm a lifetime student. I don't claim to be the best, but I know the shit out of the market. And I earned that. And I learned it. And I earned it. And I can prove it. So there are gems in the market. And if you just take, I'm a volume, I just watch volume. Well, how do you even know that's accurate? Volume. Just because you see a bar going up and the green bar's bigger than the last couple bars that were red, does that mean we're supposed to just move to the upside? I understand that there's confluences and stuff like that, right? Don't misinterpret what I'm saying. But the point is, where is that information coming from? Who's actually inputting that information? Is the platform that you're on accurate? Because if you look at TradingView or all of these other different platforms, and not picking on TradingView, I like them. I've never had a problem with them. But if you look at all of these different platforms at the same time, which I have done in the past, and I do here and often, you're going to see candles that are different shapes and sizes and color. Why? Shouldn't the information be the same? You would think so, but it's not. So what do? You have to get used to your platform, right? And you have to trade off your platform. The one that you're trading on, actually taking trades, you need to learn that platform. That's why I say it takes basically two strategies. One of them is your platform. What you see off of TradingView may not match up to what you see on X, Y, and Z platform with some broker. What about MT4, MT5? When you go ahead and place a trade and you're like, okay, I'm going to take a short here. If you go back and look at those numbers, you're going to be amazed. You're like, no, that's not where I was at. And if that's where I was at and that's where you filled me, I should have had a better price. I should be in more profit, not less profit. You got to pay attention, right? So let's take Fibonacci, for example. A lot of people use Fibonacci. Numbers, I'm a numbers guy, right? So, regardless of what the numbers state, I'm a numbers guy. So, if it's, 0.618, great. And you do your homework and you have that as a confluence in your trading, great. And it works for you, great. But at least you know how to explain something, right? You would know how to explain something. You could actually show someone something that you could go back in history, possibly. I don't use Fib. disclaimer, but you would go back in history and you could go back and explain exactly what happens and go back and see for yourself. These are facts in the market, right? So if you're following a guru that cannot give you facts in the market, and talks about a hunch, and he just takes a trade in this area because that's my part of my risk management, why would you take a trade in a certain area because that's part of your risk management if you don't know how to explain it, other than its support and resistance? If you have a set of factors that lead up to that execution of the trade, isn't that a higher probability? I mean, it's common sense, traders. Of course it's a higher probability. So doing a crossover between a 20 and a 50 and a 50 and a 100, you might call that a strategy, but how do you teach that strategy? Oh, when it crosses over, just take the trade. There has to be a set of factors, right? And there has to be a set of factors that you can go back in history and maybe look at. I don't know. Sounds logical, right? So here at breathingwiththemarkets.com, I show you a set of facts that you can go back in history and continue to practice over and over and over again. Why they happen? Who fucking knows why? Who knows why? I didn't write the program. You didn't write the program, but it's fake. So if the program's fake and we're just taking stuff off a bounce, or we're just taking stuff because it's a pin bar candle or something like that, or a dragonfly, whatever you want to call it, engulfing, is that a true strategy? It's for you to decide. What's your probability? Don't you want to take the highest probability trades? And if you want to take the highest probability trades based on a set of facts, not opinions, not I've seen this before, not it's a hunch, not I think price went too high, therefore I'm going to short. That's not a set of facts. Who's to say how high price can go? What do you mean you think it went too high? What's that got to do with it? Who says it's done from going higher? What facts do you have? They don't. They look left. And when they look left, they go, oh, that's why price is moving. Oh, that's why price is turning. Traders, trading is a professional sport. You must have a skill. A skill is learned behavior, period. Not intuition, not experience. Not experience and not intuition. The experience comes from your knowledge. How knowledgeable are you? What did you practice? And then you start to gain experience from practicing and learn behavior of practicing something that you were taught, right? If you hit a baseball off a tee, you have the same pitch. Nice swing. You're working on your swing. Inside, outside pitch, whatever. And you keep crushing the ball. Learn behavior? Yeah. If you take 10,000 swings over a period of time, there's in the sweet spot, will you become better? Of course. How could you not become better? Trading is the same way. Take the money out of the equation. It's not about the money. Okay? It's not about blowing accounts. It's not about holding accounts the longest. It's about learning a skill. I tell the traders all the time, if you're going to trade the live market, you're wasting your time. Practice what I teach, and you'll gain the skill a lot faster than looking at a live market. Everyone always wants to trade in the live market. I get it. So do I. I get it. But you got to put in the work. You have to put in the work. There are successful support and resistance traders, but that's not a strategy. They have information. It might be part of their confluence, one of their confluences in trading. And when they line up, they go ahead and take it. But I'll tell you, looking left and trading off support and resistance by itself, very, very fucking weak. Very weak. High risk. It's not low risk. It is a high risk trade based on a bounce, a hunch, intuition. I've seen this before. It's guessing. Just if you can repeat that, what is your hit rate? Throw all the support and resistance traders out there. Go ahead, document it. What is your hit rate on that? Well, it doesn't have to be that high. If you just, you can have a 30% hit rate and then, keep increasing your lot size as you go up and you're bound to win. This is not fucking gambling, traders. That's gambling, okay? Because there's a lot of people that don't have the money to keep doubling their positions, right? So if you really want to see what a hit rate is you keep the same lot size and position, right? Until you can figure out that, wow, this is great. This is profitable, right? Because if you're not using the same lot size, how the fuck would you know anyways? If you kept losing $100 a day and then you went heavy and you made 3,000 that day, is your strategy good? You lost 9 out of 10. I wouldn't say so. So it is a hit rate. The hit rate is important. High probability is important. Practicing is important. On a live market? No, it's not important. Watching the live market? No, it's not important. That's the easy thing. Pushing buttons is easy. Pushing a button is easy. Gambling is easy. Gaining a skill takes work. I didn't say it was hard. I said it takes work. If you enjoy trading, you have a passion, then to gain that skill based on your appropriate education, someone that can actually teach you how to navigate through the market and look for the highest probability trades. Is there a holy grail? No, but it's not a catch-22, traders. Okay, it's not a catch-22 as you exclude strategies because there's no holy grail. They just throw that out there. Listen, traders, there is a high probability trade. There's more than one high probability trade. But whoever is using that high probability trade, when he or she wants to, they can teach that high probability trade with a set of facts that you can go back and price and look at, not backtest. There are gems in the market. Why are they there? Who the fuck knows? You and I didn't write that program. The market to me is fake. It's algorithmic. It can go up and down all day long. That's fine. It can speed up, slow down, fake out, whatever it's going to do. But if you understand and know how to approach the market on a daily basis, over time, your skill will get better and better based on a set of facts that you've learned that someone can actually show you what happens in the market. Why does it happen? Who the fuck knows? It's fake. Someone wrote the program. The program's designed to go up. They halt the market if it goes down a certain percentage. What do you say? If you don't have bags and bags of money laying around, you better learn how to trade using a skill set. Pushing buttons, unless you're going to be an investor and you're in love with a certain stock by its name and you buy it and hold it, that's not trading. Scalping takes a skill like no other, in my opinion. You really have to know where you're at in the market. And how do you know where you're at in the market? With a set of facts, not your intuition, not a hunch, not because you've been doing this 20 years, 10 years, 5 years. Years don't matter. It's repetition. Reps matter. How many reps did you put in to identify what you were taught? How many reps of all those set of facts? And then when all those set of facts line up, you go back in history, when all those set of facts line up, what happens? High probability, right? That's trading about probabilities. If you're following a guru that says they just have a crossover strategy, have them explain it. What do you mean by a crossover strategy? They have some special indicator, right? They want to sell you. You still have to know where you're at in the market, no matter what. If you don't, those traders should level up. There's so much to learn. That's why I'm a lifetime student. Not because I don't have enough time in the market, not because I haven't taken 20s of thousands of trades. I've done more than that. The point is, you'll never stop learning and trading. But don't come up with some bullshit strategy where you cannot explain and people cannot practice. And if your course is basic, then say it's a basic course on what a candlestick looks like. Yes, you can learn all that for free. You can read that. But learning an actual edge in the market for free, very hard to believe, because I understand what it takes from my experiences and my background, how the market moves. And I understand you just can't watch a video and get it. I wish you well. I hope you understand that each and every day you can get better. But if you have a gambling mentality, a gambling habit, you watched a gambler, or you're not doing well, there is a high probability that you are gambling. And if you don't know where you're at sincerely in the market, you're gambling. If you cannot tell the students or someone that you know exactly how to approach the market and why, where they can go back and verify for themselves, because that is learned behavior. I can't convince somebody unless they do the work. I can't convince them unless they do the work, and then it becomes learned behavior, and then they come back to me and says, oh, yeah, you're right. But when stuff repeats itself over and over again, there's really not much to talk about. You have to gain that skill and knowledge from reps. I wish you well. Peace, traders.